Hey yo, what's up? Alex here from Metamind Music, and in this video we're going to look at doing the finishing touches of a mix with automation and effects. So let's dive in to our familiar tune here and look at some of the effects going on and some of the finishing automation touches that I've done to kind of breathe life into this mix. So what we got going on here is right when the solo ends, we used a really nice Moog synthesizer, and so here's what it sounds like. And all I did to this synth was throw an EQ on and really just shave off all the low end and a lot of the super ultra high end frequencies, because typically synths are very full spectrum sounds. So I just carved that out just so that it doesn't interfere with the rest of the mix, and you still hear the sound as it, like, it's, there's basically no difference when you throw this EQ on. So I'll A/B it for you if you'd like. That's with it, without it. And in context of everything. So it's definitely just enhancing that like impact before the bridge section. Also, what we did before the bridge section is the bass just wailed on this epic chord. So I'll show you that. So that's hitting at the same time as the synth really increases the impact. And beyond that, I'm sending, I'm sending the synth to this crazy long reverb. And I'm also going to send those bass DI, those bass kind of punches. Maybe a little bit more bass. Just to add a little bit more dimension to that hit. Let's hear it all together. Very nice. Beyond that, when this bridge section kicks in with the guitars, we have this same kind of idea with the synth. It's exactly the same kind of processing as the first synth punch. And then this other synth track is the same as the second one, but reversed. So that kind of just creeps up right before the solo starts. Kind of transitions very smoothly into the solo. And on that solo, actually, for the first few notes, I will, let's see, tab. I do automate a send to the long reverb, I believe, or to the repeating delay. So go into automation mode. So right at the beginning, if you listen closely, when the guitar starts to come in for the solo, there's many repeating layers just to add to the psychedelicness before it actually lands at on the downbeat. So I'll give you a listen. It's very subtle. It's just the delay that's happening at the beginning of the solo. And I'll solo the actual long reverb so you can hear it. And in context with everything, it's just to add a little bit more special effect as the synth kind of fades out and the guitar fades in, just adds a little bit more extra delay. And I think that's all we have on this track for kind of special effects, transitional effects. But beyond that, something I like to do as sort of finishing touches on a mix is to really dive into automation. And a few key automations that I have done on this track is volume automations on the drums for when there's a drum fill. So if you can see closely here, the drum is sitting at -2 dB for most of the track, but at certain times I'm dipping it up to just almost 0 dB. And this is when typically is a drum fill, just to bring out that drum fill in the mix so that it catches your attention more. So I'll give you a little taste of like what it's doing. So just for that small little drum fill, I am increasing the volume. And that's for every kind of prominent drum fill. I'm trying to make it more apparent because it's definitely something you want the listener to experience and pay attention to. Then it ducks back down in volume after the fill. And on the fills that have those rototoms, which are basically those like high pitched toms, I'm also going into the room mic because we didn't actually spot mic those small toms. So I only got them in the room mics and the overheads. So for those fills, I'm actually automating up the volume of the room mic itself. Just so that they become less ambient and more prominent just for that one fill, and then they go back down to the standard setting. So I pretty much did that for every drum fill, and I also did that for the few fills that have those rototoms. Oops. Zoom in there, put that dot back. Right, so and that's just to make sure that everything interesting that's kind of sticking out of the performance and the mix, you really want to capture the listener's attention. And a great way to do that is just simple volume automation or simple effects send automations can go a long way. Beyond that, in the chorus sections, I believe I automated, yes I did. So for the chorus and for the bridge, for the bass, I automated the volume to go higher so that the chorus has a little bit more energy when it happens, because it's pretty much the same volume, same tracks, no extra layers or anything happening during the chorus. So I wanted to create a little bit more impact of the chorus by increasing the volume. So I'll give you a little taste of that. So what I'm doing is I automated the bass bus volume up about 2 dB. Let's open this up. So I kind of went from -4 to -2 just for the chorus. And I also automated the volume of that bass amp track that we kind of dove into in the first video, just so it has a little bit extra crunch during that chorus part, right? So before it's pretty low volume, and then it kicks up for the chorus. Except that was a little bit late, so we'll move it so that it actually increases volume right before that hit. And I'm also doing the same thing with this guitar. So the guitars are going up about 2 dB as well for that chorus part. I'm just going to make sure that it happens actually before the chorus hits. So same thing with guitars. It's very subtle, but these subtle moves make a huge amount of difference. So all that together with, I believe there's a drum fill going into the chorus, and the chorus volume of the bass increasing and the guitars, it does add quite a bit of energy.
Interrupt my factual flow. Oh, why do we have to make things equal? We're all just different people inside.
And what I'm actually going to do is go into this vocal bus volume, and there's only one vocal track on this song, and I'm also going to automate it up for the chorus. So put a dot here, bring this up, see how this sounds. Maybe a little loud.
Do we have to make things equal? We're all just different people inside. I have an answer in my head or something else instead, so I lie.
And then right after the chorus, I'm going to bring it back down to the same level as it was before, so about 3. Perfect. So when you're doing the final finishing touches and extra elements on a mix, you just want to pay attention to what are the key elements within the song that you want to accentuate. When can you sneak in an effect to really emphasize a part or to add space, add some vibe, add some ambience, and just really try to serve the song as best you can. And this can really evolve into a whole other artwork and a creative part of your composition if you're creating your own music and you're really going deep on the creative mixing stuff. Like you could be automating sends throughout the whole track with multiple tracks. Sky is the limit, but I decided to keep it simple for this song because this is not my song. I didn't write this, and I want to make sure that it's serving the music the best I can. So that kind of wraps it up for this song. I still have some finishing touches to do on it, but I thought I'd walk you guys through the process that I took to get this far. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you got some value out of this. If you have any more questions or any other content you'd like to see in the future, drop a comment below. I would love to hear from you. If you haven't already, download that free if you haven't already download that 7-step mix blueprint. Super handy to have around just to keep you kind of focused as you're tackling a mix, because it can get slightly overwhelming with all this crazy stuff, different tracks and plugins and whatnot, crazy arrangements. And we'll talk to you soon and see you in the next video or the next time. See you next time. Blah, 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 blah.